Hello and welcome to this quick short video, which is a follow-up to the introduction to the ToroNet payment gateway. Now, the two things that is the objectives of this video. One is to clarify a few uh, items that has been bringing a lot of questions regarding how to use a project, and the other is to update on some of the enhancements that has been added to the payment gateway since the last video. The first aspect is projects always to ask how do they receive the funds that come into their project from customers' deposits, right? And the second aspect, which are enhancements, is the payment gateway is now a general gateway. What that means is projects can receive funding for and deposit from customers for goods and services that are not necessarily dispensed or where the provenance does not have to be a blockchain token or a stable coin. It could just be a project that's using this to, uh, for instance, finance cell phones or for online payments in the stable coin that they're receiving. All right, so the second part we're going to address that in a separate video, which includes how to set up products and and you can use different product codes and product descriptions and then get customers to pay for it, and the gateway will handle that and present the user interface for the project. And the third thing actually also is that projects can include things like their logos and their project description, so that when the payment pages show up, it shows the project's images and logos. All right, now the second aspect which we're going to focus on is how the project receives the funding for the deposit. So project do pre-fund their accounts, which means that when a project's customer makes a deposit, if it's something, if it's a block, if the provenance is on chain, like a token, the project will provide that, a stable coin. And when that amount clears, there are two ways the project can get the funds back. First is when it clears. If the project has not set up a pass through, it goes back into the project's reserve. It goes into the project's reserve. So if the project if a customer, for instance, deposit $20 and received 20 Toros, which is from the project, the $20 is received off chain in a bank account, and on chain the amount is minted and placed in the customer's account, but it's placed in the project's held balances, and after it clears, it moves into the project's reserve. So the project will withdraw it using the withdrawal APIs. All right, so let's go into the development environment to see how this works. The first thing is we will check what this project has, all right, in terms of balances. All right, so this project right now, let's make sure we run this again. This project now is my project account set up to use the gateway. There are several things that are, minimum balances and all that, maximum balances, and the maximum amount that the project can receive. But more importantly, what we're focusing on is the project's balance itself. So this project has 60 Toros. So if a customer wants to deposit, let's say, $1 to obtain one Toro, it's going to come from this project, right? The second thing is there's something called held balances, which are balances in transit. Once they clear, if the project is not set up with pass-through, the amount once it clears moves into this project's balance, and the project can withdraw it using withdrawal APIs. There's a separate video that shows how to use withdrawal APIs. It's really easy. It's just a single call to request the amount, and the customer can use it, and the project itself can use it. So the project can actually withdraw out of this balance up onto the minimum balance that they need to maintain. But if the project is set up with pass through, then this amount, once it clears, is actually deposited into the project's physical bank account rather than moved into their reserve. And so they don't need to use the withdrawal to withdraw that amount. So we're going to demonstrate it now by having a customer make a payment uh, through this project's gateway account. All right, so let's check the customer's balance first. Uh, right, so the customer is going to exchange US dollars for Toros. All right, and so this is the customer amount, and this is the amount. And there's some other things which were explained in prior videos, things like what redirection URL to send the customers to. Okay, so if we looked on chain and we check this customer's balance, we start off with this customer. I believe I ran this before. This customer has 9.74 Toros. All right, so this customer is now going to purchase the amount. Also, we checked what the project had, right? The project had 128 in the balance in flight, held balances. All right, so this customer is going to make this payment now. So let's go ahead and process that. Okay, so a URL is presented and the developer is going to redirect the customer to this URL to proceed to make the payment. So I'm going to do that. And so the user interface handles this. Like I said, one of the enhancements is that the project's logo uh, is going to be set up here and the project's name. So I'm using this project name, and so I'm able to see that and the logo as well. Based on the setup, the fees are paid by the customers. That's also from this setting here, the fee type. So we set the fee type at 0, which means the customer pays off chain. And so the customer is paying this amount of chain, and the customer is going to receive a value, this equivalent of $1 in what they're purchasing, which in this case, or what they're exchanging for, which in this case is Toros. Okay, I'm going to do this here. So since this is already pre-set up, I don't have to pause because I don't have to provide any information that is proprietary here. So we can just proceed. All right, so it redirects here, but the developer will handle this. So the developer would have set up a pass-through that they wanted. Okay, so the payment has been made, and now another enhancement is automated right now, and as far as this payment channel. So the amount immediately shows up here, and the customer already has one more Toros because of that amount. But more importantly, let's see what happens to the project in terms of the balances the project has. So initially, the project had in balance 60 Toros and in held balances in flight 128. So we'll refresh this. So now the project now has 59 because the one Toros was provided to the customer. But in addition, the project now has 129 US dollars in transit, right? If the project is set up with pass-through, that $1, all the amount that's in transit is going to go into the project's bank account. If the project is not set up with pass-through, that amount moves into this column, and the project could now withdraw that with the withdrawal APIs at any time of their choosing. So that's basically the update to how to use a payment gateway, how to obtain the values that are deposited for the benefit of the project, and also, of course, the fact that we do also support more currencies than at the last update. So all of that is available and in the updates that's in the live API documentation that you have access to. Thanks for watching.